my presentation, the art of risk-reduced biochar, smarter projects through waste heat recovery, electrical generation. I am Natalie Van Dyke. I am the Director of Sales for ElectraTherm, and this is an uncomfortably large picture of my face. Okay. All right. Sven has done a fantastic job of explaining technology here, and so I want to be clear. I'm going to go a little different direction here. I think most of the people have, and I will go over ORC briefly in terms of what the technology is, but what I'd really like to address here today is why. Why bother? Does this add complexity? Does this add additional work? What is in it for you? And this is what I would like to address today, okay? So yes, as Sven said, we are in, biochar's hot. We got heat, we got that, okay? What I want everyone to understand is this represents an opportunity to extend your profitability, but it also is going to de-risk your project, okay? And you may not realize that, but I want to put this forward as a kernel of knowledge for you to just kind of suss out as you are doing your developments, okay? How many people here are developers? By a show of hands. Okay, how many are active, have an active project today, making biochar? Okay, so we have a lot more people that are investigating than are actually creating. Hey, Daryl. All right, again, I'm going to give you a quick introduction of ElectraTherm. I will give you a very whiplash explanation of our technology. We have a really nice booth downstairs, and I got engineers. They will go to town with you if you want to talk about it, okay? I'm not an engineer. I'm here for the other stuff. I'm here for the money, okay? And the other thing is I want to examine the electrical generation from waste heat recovery so you understand why this design addition is important to consider now, okay? ElectraTherm. Here's my 2-minute commercial. ElectraTherm is owned by the Bitzer Group, very large conglomerate. We have been in business since 2009. We have some very venerable old guard individuals, some of which are here with us today. Some of the founders are working in other areas. But today, oh, and see, I told you that was going to happen. Okay, and there we go. We have over 200 installations with more than 2 million run hours globally. I have 50 units running in the UK, and I have the person who's in charge of all of them downstairs at the booth as well. He will drag you through every detail you want about operation if you want. His name's Joe Ainscow. I encourage you to go down, introduce yourself to him. He has a really nice accent. He's pleasant to talk to. We are across 16 countries. We also are owned by the Bitzer Group, which is a very large conglomerate. They are a privately held corporation, largest manufacturer of refrigeration and air conditioning compressors in the world that is privately held. And the reason that's interesting is because this is an expander. This is the heart of our ORC. It is a different technology than others. This is a compressor in reverse, okay? And as a compressor manufacturer, we build between 20 and 30,000 of these a year. So this is something that they're pretty good at. These are not one-offs. We are not building these custom for you. This is an appliance. This is like the refrigerator in your kitchen. You're buying something that is commercially off the shelf available and can be plugged into your process today. Okay, here is ORC 101. You have hot water circuit, you have a cold water circuit. High pressure moves to low pressure. When it moves, we're going to put it through an expander, which is going to turn a generator. That spinning creates the mechanical work that exercises the generator and creates electricity. So you get kilowatts out. That's it. Bring us hot water, cold water, plug it into a 480 volt motor rated circuit breaker, and you are moving. You are installed. If that's not a good place to put that. If anyone wants deep technical information, we have it. can go very deep on this, but I really want you to understand the concept of why you should consider this now. So we're going to move to that. Oh, last thing. These are the sizes, similar to Sven. We have a 75 kilowatt, a 150 kilowatt. We also have this cool thing called an active cooler, which can displace 800 kilowatts of thermal energy. This is what we're using with Pyreg. We have 3 of these operational in the US today. We have 4 of these operational because we just commissioned one with you guys as well, didn't we, Daryl? So we have 3 of these. We also have a 300 kilowatt prototype that has been purchased and will be installed by the end of December. We're under NDA, so I can't say where, but it is a prototype. It is going into the field, and it will be operational on biochar very shortly. We're heat agnostic. We don't care where it comes from, but this is what you care about. This is CarboForce, and this is CO2 sink. This is Daryl. We commissioned this last Friday. We're very proud of ourselves. It was a good day. So, and congratulations to you, Daryl. All right, here's the part that everybody came for, I hope. Last year was my first conference, Biochar Conference. I was a biochar newbie, and I was just uppity enough to get in front of some very smart people like you and make some predictions. I said that I thought it was important that you consider this at that time because the EU certification process, okay, the EU certification standards were getting tighter. And you needed to consider that today so that you're de-risking your project for tomorrow. The question that I said to everyone else at that time also was, Natalie, we're not in the EU. Why do we care? Well, you care because Puro cares and Vera cares. And that's what they set their standards on. And I bet all of you folks are interested in carbon credits. If you're interested in carbon credits, you need to be interested in what the carbon certification folks are interested in. And they're interested in the EU. So, for that reason, I said the standards would continue to march toward tighter and more stringent requirements for the waste heat recovery, and they would get closer and closer to the obligation for electrical generation. We are 18 months on. This is the exact slide that I had last year. Okay, this is version 10.3, and I stated that there had been 2 revisions in the last 12 months of that at that time. But there has been another revision. It's gotten more stringent, as I predicted it would. 14th of August, 2025, the new version 10.5 came out, and there are some changes in there that deal directly with your projects in terms of what you will want to know vis-a-vis what certification bodies want to know. So let's talk about that. Last year I pointed out that pyrolysis, section 8 of the standard indicates that you must be operated in an energy efficient manner. The use of renewable energy sources of surplus electricity is recommended. Recommended. If we go to this year, the new language says must be operated with renewable waste energy, or the use of renewable energy or sources, or the use of surplus electricity is required. It is no longer recommended, it is required. Last year the standard said excess heat must be used to at least 70% for generating electricity or for similar sustainable purposes. 70%, similar sustainable. Drying similar. Drying sustainable. Drying's a purpose. Sounds good. Last year, if that's all you're doing, you're compliant. This year, they changed it. We're changing it to 60%. Well, that's lower. 60% is lower. That made it easier, right? No. 60% has changed what it's measuring. It's 60% of something else. It's 60% of the sum of all the energy expenditures must be recovered in the form of usable heat or electricity. 60%. That's all after all of the processes, okay? That includes everything you got here. So let's see here. It's easy enough to figure out. Everybody has thermodynamics engineers on staff, right? I mean, I do, but I don't think you guys do. This is the formula for you saying, if a certification body comes by and they want to say, are you meeting the standards? That's what the math is. These are all your variables. I'm not sure what you need to measure all those variables. I'm sure my engineers do. But it looks pretty tough to me. It's not something I want to do if I'm trying to create biochar and just trying to keep my operation moving. So I would put forth that one way to avoid this level of complication is to install some manner of ORC, whether it's us, whether it's one of our competitors, whether it's whatever the technology is. If you are creating kilowatts, if you are generating kilowatts with your system, and somebody says, what if I got 60% of it? I said, I don't know, but I know how much it takes to run that machine, and I know how many I created, and I got a report off the HMI for it. You want to walk over and watch it? You want to look at it? I'll show it to you. I can show you exactly how many hours you did. Okay? And I'll tell you who else will be interested in that number. Who here has had to fill out a pro forma or is building a pro forma for investors? Right? Okay. If you are doing that, at some juncture, they are probably going to ask you, do you have this stuff? Because these guys are going to want it. And if they want it today, they're probably also going to want it in year 6 or 7. And if you're not, you may be compliant today, not making electricity. But at the rate that the EU certification's moving, are you going to be compliant in year 6 or 7? Do you hit profitability in year 6 or 7 on your pro forma? When you put your stuff in grain and you figure out if you're part of that system, when you put that in, what year do you hit profitability? Is that also the year that you fall out of compliance and you're no longer able to make carbon credits because you're not within the requirement that continues to get tighter? Adding this today as a consideration gives you a better chance of staying compliant down the road. Okay, and again, this is not about my technology, this is about generation. If you are building a project today, de-risk your project. Understand where this is going to go in the years ahead, because that's when you want to be profitable. That is not when you want to learn that you are no longer able to meet the compliance. Because if you had to, you go, oh gosh, well, I can change my system then. I could just add it. Okay, let's talk about adding it. If you have to open up a system, I know some people in the room have done this recently. If you open up a system and you're buying things 5 years from now, it's going to cost more. If you have to move existing equipment, it's going to cost more. It is extremely expensive to retrofit. It is not terribly expensive to put it in at the beginning if you plan well. It's particularly not difficult at the beginning if you're able to take advantage of the tax credits. Okay, there's the income tax credit still associated with electrical generation. Okay, it's called a waste energy renewable property. Solar and wind have gotten beat up pretty significantly by the current administration. We are still standing. I'm not going to go deeply into that today. I am happy to do a second webinar on that, but I'm waiting until the end of September when we get through reconciliation. As of right now, any policy information I give you could literally be wrong by 3 p.m. And I'm not exaggerating. So I want to be very careful about that. But we are keeping our eye on it closely. We're members of a lobbying group called Heat is Power. We have a lot of people trying to keep all of these credits available for the biochar community. We're working very hard at it. I know that US BC as well is working very hard at it. We're going to do our best. But no, do know it is available at this time still. So with that, the last thing I would say is consider your project today. Consider what you need, but don't consider only what you need today. Consider what you need down the road. This is a moving target. Are you going to be in compliant in year 5, 6, 7, 8? If you're questioning that, then I would greatly, greatly encourage you to at least analyze what the addition of this equipment to your current design would be and understand how it may or may not affect your CapEx, your ability to get funding, because your funding people are going to want to know that you're solvent through that time. You're also going to have to get insurance for that. Your insurers are going to want to know that you're good for that time, okay? Take all that into consideration as you're doing this, and that is my final comment, other than thank you very much, and I would very much encourage you to come down to our booth, 502, and we would be happy to give you all of the technical information.